Welcome to Ratals.com tutorials part 6 and turning our site into an e-commerce store. So in the last video, we just went through our account as a customer, and now we're going to update our homepage here a little bit to try to make it look more like a store. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our pages, all pages. We're going to sort this so we can get to our homepage, go into our homepage, and what we're going to do is we're going to use our sub items. And so I'm going to click here into our sub items. We're going to create our first sub item. I'm just going to call it top. Now, sub items are very, very powerful. We can create code and make it run however we want with HTML and CSS. We can also include files that render code, and we can also add in records that are already created, such as inventory items, product pages, categories, all that type of stuff. We can include right into a grid layout. And so let's jump into looking at that. So right now we've created this first grouper here called top. And when I go into it, the first thing it's going to ask me is, what do you want to do with this group? And we can set it up as code. Now real fast, I'm just going to show you, if you are going to create code in here, HTML and CSS, if you have that skill set. So I'm just going to show really fast how to do it. We're gonna want to make sure we set up our nonce just like this. And what's going to happen is it's going to make our nonce, put our nonce number in here, because we run a level 4 nonce. Otherwise the console is going to tell you that these classes can't and IDs may not be able to load. If you cannot, because of our CPS or content security policy, you also cannot do something like this, like an inline style margin : 10px. This is not allowed in the content security policy, because we run a strict one to make sure that the site is extremely secure and nothing can ever be tapped into by a hacker trying to put something into the page, right? For a lack of better words. But essentially you have to run a nonce like this, okay? Inside your style tag. You cannot do inline, okay? And then you could build out whatever you want in here. Now, if you decide to do include files is where you can go into the template, which is be over here inside of our design template. You go into the template, select it. You can create include files, and inside those include files, then you can come here. Once you create it, you can come in here and select any include file to then load here inside the page. Now, include files in HTML code do run from end to end on your sides here. There is no margin. They don't sit inside this container. And the reason is because in doing this, you're going to want to create whatever you want. And so we have it set up to where you can create whatever you want. Now, for the purposes of, if you do want a container, the style sheet uses this right here, container-with. If you use that, it'll keep it inside this container for a class. Okay, that's inside the core style sheet of this template. So you can use a container if you want it, if you put it into your code. Okay, now the easiest in managing the homepage is just going to be creating a grid items of products and categories and posts, whatever you want to put into the homepage. And the way you do that is we change this from an include file. We're going to change it just to sub items. And I'm going to come down here now and hit save on our sub items. And this is going to allow us to put anything in here that we want that's already created. I'm going to show you that in 1 second. Now, if we ever want to delete a group, we can hit delete right here. And we have to hit save when we use the delete. If we ever want to hide a group, we just hit the I right here, put a slash through it, and it's going to say hide that group. It's not going to display on the home page anymore. This runs with Ajax to where when you click it, it's going to immediately turn it off. You don't have to hit save. But on delete, you do have to hit save, because delete resaves the entire group by removing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here into this middle section. When we created this top group, it gave us this group down here, and it also gave us this middle area where we can assign items to our sub items here. So we can assign items into this sub item or group. And so what we're going to do is we're going to select our top here, and it's going to open this up, and this is going to show us our last 100 URLs. And if we create a product with 3,000 inventory items in it, this is going to become a very large list because this is the product for one URL, and then it has 3,000 inventory items on it. So this would be considered, this one product in the 3,000 inventory items that are attached to it would be considered one URL. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, so this could become really a big list if you create a lot of products this size, which you really shouldn't. You should split these out to market these products at in different areas of the site. But for demonstration purposes, this is what we did. And so, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select, I don't know, let's just do like 30 or so of these. So we got our product page, and then we're going to select about 30 of these. So go down to 30. And that looks good enough. Then we're going to assign these to our top. So what it's going to do is it's going to run through and it's going to add them to our top group down here. So when we close it, you can see they're in there. And so now we can remove them over here if we don't like them. We can drag and drop them in any order, and we can disable them. Now keep in mind this enable disable is only going to enable or disable this product within this group, nowhere else in the site. This enable disable is only for in this group. Okay. If you want to disable this product, you got to go into the product, which will be here, and you can disable the whole product. But this does not disable the entire product, only in the group. Okay, so and the same for inventory. So with that being said, let's go look at the front end now, because we added it and we can see where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, we don't have any gapping in between each of these columns. If we wanted some, you can see right now inside this group, we have our gap between items at 0. So let's just go ahead and make it 5. So it puts a little bit in there, and we can hit refresh. And now we can see we're starting to get a little bit of gapping in between there. Obviously, you can make it larger if you want to by making it bigger than 5. Now, if we wanted more columns, we can go here and let's make it 7 columns, right? And hit save, come out here, hit refresh. Makes them much smaller because we're now trying to squeeze in 7 columns. If we want to make them really big, so some stores like to have really big images on their main pages, and you can hit it as 3, let's say. You have really large pictures. I mean, you can go down to 2 and make them really large. And you can also, even in the group, set them up as a list item. So you can come in here, do a list item, save, hit save. And now we have inside our whole group a list item, just like we did in the categories. So sub items fully allow you to build your layouts however you want, and you can create these groups into whatever you want. So I'm just going to put them back to 5, okay? And obviously you can create as many groups as you want to right here. You can create another group. Then you can drag and drop the groups if you want to move them around. So you can drag and drop your sections. Let me refresh this to wherever you want. So and you can also turn this into a slider. So let's do that. So let's turn this into a slider really quick. It's our last question right here. Display group as a slider. Yes. And we're just going to leave all these default settings in here. I'm not going to go through them right now. I'm just going to leave it for what it is. In another video, we'll go through sliders. But I hit refresh, and now you can see it turned them all into sliders. Now it's a little tight down here on the bottom. And this is where, if you know a little bit of CSS, you can go right here to the outer box and just do margin, colon, and we're just going to say 0. So it starts on the top. So we'll say 0px. I'm just going to copy this all the way down. So we go top, right, bottom, left. So on the bottom, we're just going to make it 60. Then we close it with a semicolon like that. And then we can write another class if we want to, like padding. And so I can go down here, hit save. And now you can see we have some room down here. So this isn't like a full design course right now. This is just to show you how you can modify the homepage to make it start looking like a store. You can put a header in here by writing right here in your H2 with some text underneath it. So a header will be there with some text underneath it. You can change this as the H1, which is over here, our H1 on our main page. And totally design it to whatever you want, building content, putting full HTML custom code in here if you want to in between these, and dragging and dropping them. And now what happens if you're like, well, I want two rectangles like this inside here, and I only want it to be two, and then this. So you would have to go into the product page and change your image to be a rectangle image that it displays, so you can do two of them, and that would be your group. For example, if you want it to be like that, then you can create more down below. So I'm going to create real quick one more group, and I'm just going to call this group 2. And we'll go ahead and hit create just to show you how there's a second group, group 2. And I'm going to put pages. Let's put a category in this first, right? Search. So here's our store and our blog category. We'll throw these in there into group 2 because that's what we have selected. So we'll do that. And then we'll also, in group 2, we'll throw some pages in here. So let's go pages, search. And I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here so I can get our homepage, blog. I'm going to put our homepage in our homepage. Doesn't really make sense, but this is just so you can get an idea. That's good enough. I'm not going to put a whole bunch in here. Customer account, about us, and so forth. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and save on this. And now, let's go take a look at it. Oh, we didn't select that it needed to be a subgroup first, right? Before we add stuff in it. That's important. So now we can go into our group 2. And we got to do it again because we didn't select what the group was going to be. So categories, save, select those two, group 2 again. And this time we'll put some pages in there as we did last time, search. And we'll go down to the bottom down here and we'll throw these back in there because now we have one group created, or what the group's going to be. And so now we can see they're in there. Again, we can drag and drop them into any order. Now if we go up to the front page, hit refresh, now we can see them. And you can see it stacked them on top. Again, there's no grid spacing in there, so we can go into this group and say instead of 0, let's make it 5. Hit refresh. Now we got some spacing in there. And we got our slider down here underneath. So we got our slider. Got this group up here. We can adjust them by moving them around. Hit save. Refresh. Now if we want this to have more than 5 or less, we can go in here. We can say, hey, let's make this one 6. So it looks a little different than the slider. Hit refresh. And so then we probably want to put our margin like we did up here. Probably take some margin out of this one because we put it on top where we put 60 in here, right? You can put the 60 down here and so on, but you can see how you can fully make whatever you want. So I'm just going to copy this. We'll make this one like 20, right? So there's some margin between that slider and our next group down here on the outer. We'll make that one 60, save, come back out here. So now we have that a little bit tighter with our margin down there. So you can see how you can start to make it whatever you want, make these as big or small as you want. If you want to go all the way out here, you can by building custom stuff because the custom stuff's not in a container. If you want to make the whole template wider, you can go into the template and make it, by default, it's 15, the style that I showed you earlier. So if we go into right here, this container wrapper, it is a variable, so we can go into this variable right here and make it 18. Now this isn't going to make it permanent, but this is just to show that you can do it. And you can see now that it's a really wide page. And of course, once all your images and stuff are in here that are real, this will look fantastic, right? And so you can make anything you want. Now, one thing that I forgot to do, this is the home page. One thing that I forgot to do is over here in our store page, you can also add, I'm going to make a quick note here. You can also add in product images or products because we only added our inventory. And over here for our searches, for our category search filters, that's the word. These filters filter inventory. And so if we want to have product in here too, products don't have attributes on them. Inventory have attributes on them. But we can add product in here. And so if I wanted to put the main product page in here, I can do that. So if I go to my category and we go to our store right here, if we come over, so this is what's already been attached, and we know it's our 3,000 inventory items from the earlier video. But if we want to assign just this inventory or just this product page itself, we can assign the product page itself right here. if we wanted to assign all 3,000 inventory that are behind this product page, we could click that button, but that would just duplicate it all and put 6,000 in here. So we don't want to do that. Or you can go into here and you can add individual, but they're already all assigned. You can add individual inventory items that are attached to this product by going in here and finding the inventory that attached to this product. But the product page itself, we can just assign the product page itself here. Now it's going to, of course, put it at the end of the pile, right? So if we go all the way to the end here, let's go all the way to the end. Scroll all the way down. And we can see it put that we know this is it because it's a product page or type. It's not an inventory. If we want to move this up to number 1, so we don't have to drag it up 3,000 rows by putting a whole bunch of rows here, we just put 1 in it, hit save, and it's going to automatically adjust everything. So now our product page is up here on the top. So now when we hit refresh, we can see that our product page is right there on top. And now what's the difference? The product page doesn't set anything inside the URL because it's just loading the actual product page or the bucket that's holding all the inventory, right? But if we go back and if we select like this guy here, you can see it puts in exactly what it is that we're looking for, which is great because if you do PPC or anything like that and you want exact URLs, you can actually do that. Now, later when we go into shopping feeds and stuff like that in other videos, these are the URLs that it actually grabs and puts into our shopping feeds to build shopping feeds for search engines and wherever else you might be doing advertising. But anyways, thank you for watching. You can see it's a full-blown store at this point. Just got to detail or lay it out with images for your design look and feel of what you're looking for. And I hope you enjoyed the videos. Go to the next videos to watch more on how to keep making it great. Appreciate you watching. See you in the next tutorials.